Our first daily cancellation of the week revisits a theme that we have become familiar with in this segment. Another video has gone viral of a young person, appears to be Gen Z, bitterly lamenting the fact that he's expected to work. In fact, he says that this expectation is sick and twisted, quote unquote. Here he is.
It's sick and twisted that I have to work just to survive, just to live my life for basic ass necessities. Like, I don't want to work until the day I die just to eat and sleep. Basic human necessities, it shouldn't be controversial. Free housing, free healthcare shouldn't be a pipe dream. And I know a lot of people are going to be like, oh, you should be doing this or that. No. Like, what if I don't want to be rich? What if I want to achieve I still have to work till the day I die just to live? Just to survive? People give up their entire lives just to retire at the ripe age of 60 whatever. For what? To get paid dirt even then? People destroy their bodies physically and mentally just to feed into a capitalistic system that does not give a shit about you. God didn't make me the smartest angel, but I know that shit needs to change. And I don't want to be told that I'm ungrateful, that I should be happy to have a job where it's taking up 40 hours of my week. You know, I want to spend time with my family. I want to do that is fulfilling to me. But all that like requires so much privilege, it requires so much wealth, and it's just messed up.
40 hours of my week. People that complain about a 40-hour week job, they blow my mind. Do you know how lucky you are? I know he said, I don't want to be told that I should be grateful. Well, you should be grateful, you brat. You know how lucky you are if you only work 40 hours? That's it? Only 40 hours a week? That's all the time you're working. Think about that. The amount of work, period, that you do in a week is only 40 hours. That is incredible to me. I can't even conceive of only doing 40 hours of work in a week. Okay, so we have, again, a young man who appears to be well-fed, appears to be living in some kind of comfortable shelter, presumably a house or an apartment, and who is obviously blessed with any number of luxuries like a phone, internet connection. We can assume copious amounts of hair product. He has all of this and yet doesn't believe that work should be a requirement to maintain it. It's sick and twisted that he should have to work just to live, let alone to afford his hair conditioner. Now, as I've often said in response to these kinds of disturbingly common complaints from his generation, about the fact that you have to work is like about the fact that you have to breathe. You might as well make a video whining like, you're telling me I have to breathe every second of the day just to live? Exhale, inhale all the time just to live? What if I don't want to breathe? What if I want to live at the bottom of the ocean like a starfish? Why should breathing be a requirement? This is sick and twisted. Now, in a certain way, you'd be kind of right. It is unfortunate that we have to breathe. We have to eat, we have to sleep. All of these are chores that we are compelled to complete every day, or in some cases every second of the day. It'd be a lot easier if we didn't have to do any of that. It'd be easier if we could exist as immortal, indestructible supermen who need nothing and want nothing and can do anything without expending any energy at all. That would be nice. But that is not how things are or will ever be. You can complain about it, but those complaints and 20 cents still won't even buy you a bottle of water, especially with inflation. Now, our friend with the hair says that working should not be a necessity. He says that there should be universal housing and universal health care. We should be given all the food that we need to eat. All right, so who exactly is building the houses that we are living in? Who is cultivating the food? Who's providing the medical care? You could say, well, the government will do it. But the government is not a genie that can make things materialize out of thin air. The government can only hire, or more likely conscript, other people to build the homes and harvest the food and so on. What this means, as I'm constantly having to remind the younger generation and my own generation, is that no matter what happens, no matter what system is in place, someone, lots of people, have to work in order to keep all of society afloat and all of the many mouths, including your own, fed. People have to work. There is no way around it. Our system doesn't demand it. Capitalism doesn't demand it. Life demands it. What you are demanding is not that you get to drop out of the system but that you be granted the privilege of benefiting from it without contributing to it. You want others to work for you in exchange for you doing nothing. You want slaves is what you want. That's what you want. You have all the moral credibility of a plantation owner in the 1840s. You have less moral credibility, in fact, because even those plantation owners personally did more work than what you're willing to do, apparently. So you want to do literally nothing and have everyone else do everything. But what you can't explain, either morally or economically or logistically, is why any of the rest of us should submit to that system. Why should we agree to that? You know, you're sitting there saying, hey, I have a proposal. Here it is. I'll do nothing at all, and you guys will take care of me and do all the work, and in exchange, I will contribute absolutely nothing of value to the world. So you'll keep me alive and comfortable, and you'll do everything for me, and I will do absolutely nothing to help you or to make your life any better. How's that sound? Well, it sounds like the easiest deal in the world to turn down. It sounds like you're a parasite, and you should be thrown out onto the street, and you should be forced to contribute to your own survival or die. That's what should happen. That should happen like this kid, not even a kid, a grown adult. Today, he should be thrown out. I'm assuming his parents probably take care of him. Throw him out on the street and say, you're done. This is for your own good. Figure out how to survive. That's what it sounds like. That's what you need. Sounds like life needs to give you some shock therapy, son. Sounds like there are a whole lot of people in your generation who need the umbilical cords finally cut. It sounds like you've been living with nothing at stake, no skin in the game, no real pressure, and you need some pressure. You need some consequences introduced into your cozy, pointless existence. As we're all aware, the left is giving up common sense and has crazy ideologies. This Lent, we're going to combat that with a solid foundation in faith, values, and standing above their hypocrisy. With Lent starting on Ash Wednesday, February 22nd, there is no better time to build a habit of prayer and meditation to stay rooted than now. Pray every single day leading up to Easter on Hallow, the #1 Christian prayer app in the U.S., and it helps me maintain a daily prayer routine, and it can help you too. All you got to do is download the app for free at hallow.com/Matt Walsh. You can set prayer reminders and track your progress along the way. Not sure where to start? Well, check out Father Mike Schmitz's Bible in a Year, which is available on the Hallow app for brief daily Bible readings and reflections, or you can pray alongside Mark Wahlberg and even some world-class athletes as well. With Hallow, you can customize a personal prayer plan that works for you. You can listen on the way to work, on a plane, in the morning, or at night with downloadable offline sessions and customized lengths with anywhere from 1 to 6 60-minute options. Stay rooted in your faith and your values and make this year your year for spiritual growth and peace. Get an exclusive 3-month free trial at hallow.com/Matt Walsh. That's hallow.com/Matt Walsh. By the way, just so you know, the only reason you're able to exist and survive as such a soft, non-contributing little brat is because of capitalism. You complain that capitalism has made your life so difficult, but in fact, perhaps the greatest indictment on capitalism is that it has made your life far too easy. Capitalism's greatest flaw is you, okay? The greatest problem with capitalism is it has made people like you possible. Because prior to our modern capitalistic age, somebody with your attitude would be dead. You would have died a long time ago. If you refuse to work every day, and I mean every day, all day, sun up to sundown, that's the situation that most people historically have faced, and even today in most parts of the world. You are working every day, every single day, sun up to sundown, and when the sun goes down, you fall asleep dead tired, and then you get up and you do it all over again. And if you tried to drop out of that system, or if you complained that it was too sick and twisted and you didn't want to participate in it, you either would have died of starvation, or else the other people in your community or village would have banded together and killed you. Or perhaps if you're lucky, they merely would have banished you to the wilderness where you could die of exposure or starvation or get mauled to death. That would have been your fate in literally any society except for the one you're complaining about. A guy like this complaining about capitalism, it's like a billionaire on a private jet complaining about fossil fuels. And the fact that those two would agree on nearly every issue is not a coincidence. The fact that the anti-capitalist Gen Z TikToker lines up ideologically with the billionaire class is not a coincidence. But that's something to explore another day. Instead, I'd like to wrap things up with a different thought. We've talked about Mr. Hare and and why he cannot have what he wants. He cannot have the sort of existence that he feels entitled to. But let's not allow that to distract us from a more important point. He can't have what he wants, and also he shouldn't want what he wants. As a young man, you shouldn't want to not work. You shouldn't want to coast through life. He says he doesn't want to achieve anything. And in that lack of ambition, in that mentality, he is joined, unfortunately, by many in his generation, but it is a deeply depraved mentality. It is not natural. It is not normal, or at least it shouldn't be. As a young man, you should have big dreams and goals. You should have designs on conquering the world. You may lack wisdom and experience, but you should not lack for ambition. I mean, that's the one thing you should not lack for. That's the one thing you should have in abundance. It's what generations of young men before you had. Even if they had nothing else, they had that. I can remember being in my early 20s. I was impulsive, somewhat petulant. Some would say I still am on both counts. But I had ambition. If someone had offered to hand me $1 million when I was 22, now I would have taken it because I'm not crazy, but I didn't want it to be handed to me. I didn't sit around dreaming of that. My dream was not winning the lottery or earning an inheritance from a rich relative that I didn't know about. I wanted to earn it myself. I wanted to do it myself so that I could say that I did it. I wanted to scratch and claw my way to success. If anything, my biggest flaw was that I turned down help even when I needed it because I wasn't willing to admit that I needed it. Because I wanted to climb the mountain myself or fail by myself. Many young people through history have been driven this way. It's not, when I say this about myself, it's not, I'm so special. I'm not. That's the point. It's totally normal, or at least it should be. To have this insatiable desire to make something of yourself as a young man is supposed to be the most normal thing in the world. And that's why I just look with revulsion at the young people who don't have this ambition. The folly of youth is supposed to be an overabundance of ambition, fearlessness, a propensity to take too many risks, to be too wild in the risks that you take in pursuit of greatness. We're supposed to be giving you lectures about being patient and taking things one step at a time and not trying to conquer the world overnight. Even at my still somewhat, maybe arguably somewhat young age of 36, especially now with 6 kids, I'm supposed to be the conservative and cautious one. And I'm supposed to be saying to guys like Mr. Hare, hey, settle down, be careful, be safe, don't overdo it. Okay, you don't have to conquer the world overnight. Instead, it's exactly the reverse. Even now, me, middle-aged and with a family of 8 to support, I am still far more willing to take risks, far more ambitious and vigorous in pursuit of my goals than these Gen Z TikTok whiners who are younger and have nothing to lose. That's why I'm always saying, if you're a young person, you have no family, no kids, nothing, you can go out and do anything. Nothing should be stopping you or holding you back. You can move anywhere. You can try different things. You can take risks. There's almost nothing at stake. Even if it goes horribly wrong, you end up homeless or something. It's not the worst thing in the world. You don't have any kids. You could scratch and claw and you're fine. You can live in a car for a while. Lots of people have done that. It's not ideal, but you can do it. Now's the time to do it. Where's your energy? Where's your desire for greatness? How can you be this jaded and lazy already? Well, I know the answer. And it's not that the world is so much harder for young people today. I don't want to hear that. It's not that they've been dealt a tougher hand than anyone else in history was ever dealt. Now, there are some unique and profound challenges that young people today face, of course, but every generation has their challenges. You don't have to go back that far in history to find generations who face struggles that none of us could ever conceive of. That's how hard they were. So that's not it. I think the answer is much more banal. The fact is that the digital age, phones, screens, porn, video games, social media, has acted as a great mental numbing agent. Kids aren't programmed from a young age to seek stimulation and affirmation from anything but the little dopamine machines that they carry around in their pockets. The only success they crave is the kind that can be measured in likes and shares. They're never alone with their own thoughts long enough to develop the sort of rich inner life where all of those dreams and ambitions are supposed to live and grow. Now, there may be more to the problem, but there isn't much more to it than that. I don't think there is. We got an entire generation addicted to phones practically from birth, and as a result, we destroyed for many of them any hope that they might become successful and well-rounded as people. And along with that, we destroyed civilization as well. But the good news is that the aliens are just going to vaporize us anyway. So it's all a moot point. In the meantime, however, Mr. Hare is canceled. And that'll do it for this portion of the show. As we move over to the members block. Hope to see you there. And if you want to become a member, you can do that using code Walsh at checkout for 2 months free on all annual plans. Hope to see you there. If not, talk to you tomorrow. Godspeed.